Hey, what's up, YouTube? It's Richie from Boston, and before I start this video, I want to show you two links that can help you. If you don't want to watch it, skip to like a 1 minute. It's a video. A lot of my subscribers ask me for this stuff, so that's what I do. If it offends you or it makes you upset in some way, skip it. It's easy enough. Or don't. But check this out. My other YouTube channel that I have that focuses on off-roading, overland survival, etc. I have an Amazon link right there where you can go and find first aid, navigation, bug out bags, bugging in, survival clothing, cameras that I use, everything. If you want to use it, use it. If not, don't. But I've also left a link to the Patriot Pantry website. And this has worked out really well because if you're not paying attention, I don't know what to tell you, but things aren't looking too good. Our entire country, our entire economy is built on a house of cards, and it has to drop. It has to fail. Be ready or don't. At any rate, check this out. 1st of February in the year 2020, but that's what they want us to believe. I'm not fooled. At any rate, I had a subscriber reach out to me, and it turns out this subscriber, like so many others, has a lot of valuable information. Her name is Karen. Can we go with your name?
Yeah.
Her name is Karen Stewart. She worked for the NSA. She's been retired, and she's got quite a story to tell. So, Karen, that's your real name,
Yes, it is.
and you just don't want to show yourself for that's which is fine. That's fine. So I'm so glad that you agreed to coming on with your actual name because I've got a lot of people that have heavy credentials and they want to go anonymous, and I really can't do it because it could be anybody. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, absolutely.
At any rate, I'm going to step out of the way. The floor is yours. Tell us about yourself and then tell us what's been going on, and I'll bring up that video when you see fit.
Okay. All righty. My name is Karen Melton Stewart, and I worked for the National Security Agency. And I tell people when I thought the government was on our side. It turns out it's not particularly, but I worked for the National Security Agency as an intelligence analyst for 28 years. And I'm just basically giving you guys the backdrop to an affidavit I'm going to read to you. Um, and I got thrown out, I got pushed out because I actually dared to report what turned out to be Mossad infiltration of NSA and a honeypot scheme to blackmail upper management so that they could pass secrets on to a foreign power. And the way that I found out about it was I had done a special 6 month project where I had reported on a jammer that the Iraqis were going to be using against our invasion of their country. And it would have made our missiles and things like that go off course and kill people we didn't intend to kill. So they were all set to surprise us with that and have it be a total fiasco. When I found out about it and did 6 months of reporting on who was selling it to them, the all of the technical aspects to it, and our people basically created a team, went out and tested it, and tried to figure out was it any good? Yes, it was too damn good. And then they decided how to take it out so that it wouldn't screw up the invasion. So at the end of that 6 months, they said, "Man, you probably saved like 2,000 people's lives at least." And some of my bosses and some of my coworkers said, "Man, if you don't get a promotion for this, I don't know what can get a promotion." And it turned out later that my boss took credit for my work and said that it actually had been done by another woman. And it turned out she was a Mossad infiltrator, working for them and sleeping her way through the management. And they gave her my double promotion and made her my boss. And she proceeded to try to sabotage my career. And then when I found out about her stealing my promotion and my work credit, I went to the inspector general who was working for them. Guess what? He was there to protect her. So they ended up forcing me out 2 years before I could retire. And I fought like hell to get a partial uh, retirement. So I'm not destitute. I'm squeaking by. But after that, I sued them, because I have every right to. And they got furious that I would dare sue them and expose this. And well, part of the way they forced me out was gang stalking. I'd never even heard of that before. So they stalked and harassed, broke into the house, and did all kinds of things like that, which was horrifically illegal. And then they brought in the neighbors to help them, and I thought, what in the world? So that was my introduction to what the Germans call Zersetzung, which is the like a mob trying to absolutely destroy your life. And unfortunately, Department of Homeland Security, FBI fusion centers are the people doing it. And just in case you didn't realize that, but I have an affidavit here that I'm going to read to you. I'll basically say how I figured that out. I mean, maybe it was news to me alone, and people had figured it out years ago. But I am offering this affidavit to anybody who needs it. I have gotten it notarized, and I came to the conclusion that the fusion centers were mostly behind this. Now, there are some military posts and bases where they are doing this to civilians near them, and they're not necessarily going through the fusion centers. But in my case, I know a naval base was actually helping the fusion center where I was in Florida by giving them directed energy weapons, which are weapons of war. And American US code basically specifies that they are weapons of war, they are weapons of mass destruction, and they are not to be in the hands of civilians, and they are not to be used on unarmed, non combatant Americans. So,
Karen,
yeah.
after they forced you to retire early, or they forced you out of the NSA, they recruited civilian neighbors to mess with you?
Yes, what happened was,
What?
yes, yes. So I found out it was through the fusion center. So I'll give you a little bit of detail on that. Um,
Do you
when I
want me to
went to,
show the video so they can
yeah, if you want to show, you can
let me
measure. You
try.
can
Let me
measure.
try. I'm not
Yeah.
awesome at this, but let me try. I think I've
Okay.
got it queued up.
Yeah, this is a tri-field 100 XE meter that measures electromagnetic energy, and they hit you with stuff that oscillates, because if it didn't oscillate, it would fry you on the spot.
It takes a few minutes, but wow, does this thing light up. I've seen this at another YouTuber's house as well, and it's a very similar device. And they're accurate. They're dead nuts, actually.
Yep, look, it's all the way into the red zone. Look at it's oscillating.
Wow.
And electromagnetic energy is what they call mutagenic. That means it gives you cancer because it changes your
Wow.
genes. It damages your DNA.
And that's crazy because the way that thing is lighting up when I was having this happen to me, that's exactly what it felt like, because it would spike. It was very erratic, and it would make you shake like
Yeah, and
violent.
it burns your skin. It makes you
Burns
feel,
your skin. Yep.
yeah, it makes you feel like you've got um, like indigestion or heartburn, but throughout your entire body. You burn inside as well. Your eyes feel like they're going to pop out of your skull. Your ears are ringing because they're being damaged. I mean, it damages your eyesight. I have scarred retinas.
Wow.
And I mean, how the hell do you get scarred retinas? Okay. And then I'm sure I'm going to have hearing loss from the sound that it makes. It's a very incredibly high pitched, painful sound. And it also is very highly, it makes a huge pressure in your ears. And that's got to be damaging. But, it's cooking everything about you. In fact, a lot of time, it can cause necrosis of the organs, and then you get sepsis and die. So it is a slow kill. It's a sneaky, cowardly way to kill people. And they've decided that anybody who's just even merely or possibly inconvenient can be just knocked off by the government by declaring them a terrorist. And you've seen from the news that you can declare anybody a terrorist for no reason at all. They never check it. They don't allow you to know you've been declared a terrorist. They don't allow you to challenge it. Nothing. The FISA court is corrupt. The FBI is corrupt. The Department of Homeland Security is corrupt. And they are murdering people for fun and profit, is the way that I put it.
It's unbelievable. This
It
is
truly is.
unbelievable.
It truly is. I mean, if, I mean, there were things in the 60s to riot about. And this is one of them. This is one that if we should be rioting, we should be rioting about this.
Yeah, but I mean, if you were around in the '60s, you must be amazed at how of the lack of interest people have. You can show them all the information in the world, the majority, I'm saying, and they just don't care whatsoever at all. It's amazing.
Oh, well, I agree, and it's the attitude of, well, it's not bothering me. Why should I care if you're being murdered for no
Right.
reason
Right.
next to me?
Okay. So, how long have you been retired? 18 years.
I got pushed out of NSA in 2010. I could have retired in 2012. And well, let me go back to telling you about the neighbors. NSA basically decided there was nothing they could actually fire me for. So they went through my psychological evaluations and there was nothing there. So they said, we can't say she's crazy because she's, had outstanding psychological evaluations for 28 years. So what they decided to do was to have their low level goons in NSA security stalk and harass me 24/7 at NSA and off NSA. And they even resorted to poisoning to death one of my dogs. And
Oh my God.
yeah, a beautiful, it was a family dog, beautiful Newfoundland, 13 months old. Absolutely. Hit him with neurotoxin and he was gone. He had to be put down. There was no recovery. So
It's I don't know. I want to say it's sad. More people would become alarmed because the dog got killed, as opposed to having proof that a human being was being targeted by electronic harassment. You know what I'm saying?
I'm afraid so. I'm afraid you're right.
We live in a strange place right now. But at
Yeah.
any rate, go ahead.
But anyway, so they stalked and harassed me from 2006 to 2009. Um, at that point, when they poisoned the dog and then started doing coordinated aggressive driving attacks on me going back and forth to work, and they were endangering me and other people on the road, I finally did report it because I'd been ignoring it because I knew what they were trying to do. And I said, look, you've killed my dog and you could kill me or somebody else, so knock it off because you're not investigating me and you know it because I've done nothing wrong. And at that point in time, they basically stripped me of my top secret clearance and sent me to work in a travel office where you had no clearance whatsoever to, process travel papers. And what they did was they put me in a place where I was able to see in the shared parking lot between the travel office and the security building, I saw my harassers for the last 3 years, from 2006 to 2009, and I started getting their damn license plates. Okay, I recognized them, started getting their license plates, and I went to the local police. And the police started making an inquiry, and NSA said, "Oh, we can't have her getting more license plates." So they put me on administrative leave in my neighborhood. Well, it would have been a little odd to have all these men around my house. So what they did was they used a DEA agent to go to the neighbors and say, we've got a problem here. This woman is stark raving crazy and she's dangerous. And how do I know they said that? Because I walked up behind one of the sheriff's department deputies telling that to a neighbor. That according to the NSA, and he was following on the footsteps of the DEA agent. So I knew what they were saying about me, which is absolutely ludicrous. And then they had civilians stalk and harass me 24/7, and I ended up going out and stalking the stalkers. And I said, "Hey, how are you doing?" I wouldn't let them know that I knew they were stalking me, being paid to do it, apparently, because they started to admit they were getting gift cards from the fusion centers. And I was saying, "Well, would you like to know the real story?" And so they would get kind of curious. And I told them the real story. And one guy who was an ex-Marine and had looked at me like I was dirt and said, "Well, I'm going to protect my neighborhood." Okay, do you know what you're protecting your neighborhood from? And so I told him the story and he rolled his eyes. He said, "Sue the bastards." You know. So after I started getting the story out, they met at their little neighborhood meeting house and called it off. They had for about 2 weeks before that people were going to the neighborhood meeting house where they're getting indoctrinated every week to stalk and harass me. Get the bad guy, get the bad guy, yay, that type of crap. Yeah,
Right.
and I mean, crowd control. Basically, it's a psychological manipulation of a crowd of people, using your authority, to say that you're right when you're not. You're crooks. So they had police come to the meeting house a couple times and with sirens going. And so I went down to the meeting house and I was watching when they would have their meetings. And a couple times they had fisticuffs. People came out of the meeting house screaming at each other and fighting. So some of them were saying, "What are you doing having us stalk and harass basically somebody who's a war hero?" And so they actually had to call it off. So they called off the civilian stalking and harassment in 2009, about, I think, mid-July. So I sued them, and I was waiting for and you have to go through the EEOC, which is the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, in order to sue NSA, because it doesn't go the usual route of other federal agencies, because it's an intelligence agency. That was my only recourse. So I ended up being on admin leave, and then they had to leave me alone for a while. And the EEOC accepted my case. And so I was waiting for it, and I didn't have any idea how many years it would take. So from 2009 to about 2015, they did not overtly harass me. Went down to Florida, decided to spend half a year there and half a year in Maryland, because I was lucky enough to have my parents still around. They were in their late 70s, 80s. So I said, okay, I told my husband, I'm going down to Florida for half the year, get away from these jackasses in the neighborhood who stalked and harassed me without knowing what the hell this true story was. So I went down there, and my lawyer basically asked the judge for a subpoena, because we wanted to identify a certain SES NSA manager, and SES is high. It's GS 15. Okay, and these are the people who think they're gods. Okay, so I had in 2006, I had seen a gentleman leaving my house when I was coming back from going to lunch and running errands. And my husband and I noticed the back door had been broken into, but we couldn't find anything stolen. But what he had done is gone into the house and bugged it. He had stolen all the extra keys, mailbox, cars, house, for further intrusions. And I knew he was going in there because things would be moved. And on a couple occasions, I saw him in the neighborhood leaving, and he had to have been leaving my house. But the first time I saw him, he was leaving the house. He was leaving the side door. So I ended up looking him up and trying to find him. And by 2015, I had an image of him. I had his name. I had the fact that he was NSA GS 15. And my lawyer wanted to subpoena that information. Well, as soon as she did, I started being stalked and harassed again in Florida. And I said, "Oh my gosh," So I started my own investigation. I was stalked throughout 2015. And even though I had a gag order from the EEOC, because NSA just really couldn't stand me to talk about this. It was a matter of national security, so I was told I was gagged. And so yeah, but they could go to another city and lie about me to every Tom, Dick, and Harry, and gas station attendant, but I was gagged. Okay, so I did my own investigation there, and that's what the affidavit is about that I'm going to read to you. um, but it just they've gotten out of control. I mean, the government itself is totally out of control, and the intelligence agencies totally out of control and not on our side.
No, we've drawn that conclusion quite a while ago.
Yeah.
Before I forget, I cannot think of her name. I just tried to Google it while you were talking. She's an ex-CERN scientist who's heavily targeted. She's on YouTube. She does videos.
Dr. Catherine Horton.
There it is. I feel so bad. I had Catherine lined up numerous times, and then for whatever reason, I couldn't make it to my own live stream. So, I mean, this story is basically it's very similar. I shouldn't say a carbon copy, but this is not rare. This is happening
No.
way too much.
No,
Are you still married, or did this ruin your marriage? I'm just curious. You don't have to answer if you don't want.
no, still married. My husband has no idea what's going on. He knows something's wrong.
What?
Yeah, he knows something's wrong. I mean, he had some criticism for me when I was telling him what was going on in Florida because I actually got health damage, and he was basically saying, "Well, radio waves just go through you; they don't hurt you. What is this nonsense?"
Oh my.
And I said, "No, it's not like that. It's weaponized radio frequency in the microwave range a lot of the time." And then he was poo pooing it,
I mean,
because
this is all deep. Well, I shouldn't say all of it, but most of this microwave anti-personnel stuff is declassified. It's out. We know about it. We
yes,
used it.
yes. It was used in Iraq,
Absolutely. Absolutely.
against the law, against the Geneva Convention, but it was used. No, so basically, at the point where I said, "All right, if it doesn't exist and it's all my imagination, and you've been married to me, what, 30 years, and I've never done anything or said anything that was crazy, so how come now I'm suddenly crazy? But if this is all fantasy, then explain to me how I have scarred retinas, a damaged heart, bleeding in the brain, brain lesion, and what else was there? There's some other, well, I had radiation dermatitis several times. And you don't go to sleep and wake up in the morning with radiation dermatitis
Right.
too
Right.
often.
Wow.
So he was dumbfounded. I had the medical records for it. So he just was kind of, nonplussed and didn't know what to say. So we're still together. He just is rather confused because the reality doesn't fit his what he thinks he knows about the world.
Well, I know people that are, I'm gonna assume 60 years and older that are just stuck in what they know and they won't change. Period.
Yeah.
Do you know what I
Yeah.
mean? They just you can show them anything and they won't change. And I don't know. I feel for you. This is terrible.
Well, at least we're still together, and I'm kind of biding my time because I think this is going to come out in the news, and I'll be able to take a newspaper and shove it in his face. You So I'm not pushing it, but
How
it's
bad
very
of a
real.
physical toll would you say this has taken on you?
Well, that's one of the reasons I don't like to do videos because I feel like I'm just exceptionally haggard at this point.
Well,
So
that's I was hoping you'd say that because I didn't want to, but I mean that's insane. That's insane, and you're probably overreacting as far as how it's affected your physical appearance. I'm saying not everything else.
well, well, we'll see. But like I said, I don't mind talking, and I don't mind giving my name, and I tell people, I stand behind what I'm saying. You can say that I said it. In fact, I create flyers and I pass out letters
Yeah,
because I
well, I've been
stand
putting the link. I've been putting the link you sent me in the chat, and I'll pin this in the comment section afterwards, so everybody can check this out
Okay.
themselves. The
Yeah,
excuse me,
mhm.
the Tallahassee iShare photos fusion center affidavit.
Yep.
I've been sharing
That's
that in the chat, so people will be able to check that out for themselves.
absolutely fine. Like I said, I stand by everything I say. I'll take a lie detector, so I don't know mind my name out there. Um,
You're a brave woman. I was when I invited you, I was totally ready for you to go, yeah, I'll come on, but it's got to be anonymous. And then I'd have to say no because I've said it no so many times. I work for the Department of Defense. I'm special forces. I worked at CERN, but I can't give my name. And I'm like, well, then what's the point? Because it could be
right.
anybody. It could be absolutely anybody. So we're proud of you here. I'm telling you, this is insane.
Well, thank you. I appreciate it. I mean, it shouldn't be happening, and I'll tell you, when it was happening to me, I was angry, I was depressed. But when I found out it was happening to so very many people, and I'll tell you, it's either hundreds of thousands or it might be as high as 2 million people in the United States, because with the United States, the DoD, and all these people who are supposed to be serving us, they have created a ironclad network throughout the entire United States. Okay, you cannot go from one city to a vacation in another city without being put in their network and stalked and harassed every way. You are followed if you go from one city to another. you are followed by car and hit by directed energy weapons that are powered by the car engine behind you, or they try to maneuver in front of you so that they have a device hitting you from the trunk and
Karen,
hitting
say
you
that
from
again.
behind. I
Karen,
said,
they
yeah,
have directed energy weapons that are in the vehicles that are following you?
absolutely. They
Oh, that
have,
explains a
yeah,
lot.
yep. And I will tell you, if you're being hit by a directed energy device, and I'm going to say device for the smaller anti-personnel ones, because the directed energy weapons are more so for war, and they might be something that you put on top of the Humvee and hit a building with. Okay,
Right. Yep.
so let's say directed energy devices, they will put them in the car engine and have them powered by the car engine. And if you're hit with a 4 cylinder, it feels one way. If you're hit with a 6 cylinder, it's higher, it's worse. If you're hit with an 8 cylinder, then it's really bad. And if somebody has it in a truck behind you, get the heck off the road because you'll be dead.
Wow.
So they use the car engines to hit you, and they love to tailgate you and try to hit you and make you have a car accident. Okay, because it leaves nobody would know why you had a car accident. But they also try to surround you when you're driving, at least in the back and the front, and again from a trunk, where they actually have probably a proprietary battery pack on the device, since it's the trunk and it doesn't really hook into anything. So I've had that experience where I had to pull off the road and let people go by, and then get back in. And of course, whatever trip you're on, it takes forever because you're continuously having to pull off the road and let these people go by. Um, so it gets pretty darn tricky, and I ended up putting shielding in my car, but that's maybe another story. Um, but if you want to, I'll go ahead and read the affidavit. And if
Have at it. Have at it. This is all
and
you, Karen.
okay, and then if people have questions, then I'll basically answer them after the affidavit. All
Okay.
right, and it says, I, Karen Melton Stewart, on this day of February 11th, 2020, do state for the record that the following observations and conclusions are indeed true to the best of my knowledge. In February 2015, my lawyer submitted a subpoena request to Judge Lawrence Gallagher at the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission, EEOC, where I had filed suit against the National Security Agency in 2010. The subpoena was to request the Maryland Department of Motor Vehicle Records to include the driver's license image of Maryland resident Eric Hageman of Laurel, Maryland, to corroborate my own investigation and eyewitness knowledge, showing he was the person who had broken into my home beginning in August 2006 and had trespassed multiple times after that, after stealing house keys, P.O. box keys, and car keys in the original break in, which left a broken sliding glass door handle and lock mechanism in the back of the house. In March 2015, I noted a man in a pickup truck who seemed to be following me, stalking me like low-level NSA security goons had in Maryland. I identified them going to work, and I have in parentheses, I had identified them going to work at the NSA security building. Yet I was living in Tallahassee, Florida at that time, and had not been stalked by NSA in an overt, threatening manner since 2009. A couple weeks later, I again found myself being photo stalked by strangers who identified later as working for Naval Security in Pensacola, Florida, which is several hours away from Tallahassee. I have a photo of one and a photo of the car of another to include the tag. Note that their headquarters is on Fort Meade, Maryland, co-located with NSA headquarters. After the photo stalking, presumably to use a current photo to direct yet another stalking operation against me, indeed, I suddenly found myself being overtly stalked by multiple people in early April. Note that the Naval Security Group is nicknamed Silent Warriors due to their expertise in electronic weaponry, such as directed energy weapons and anti-personnel directed energy devices. Interesting enough, the night before the stalking, or actually the electronic attacks happened, about a 30 to 60-minute barrage of mystery booming sounds came after dark from the Laura Phipps property a couple miles away on Lake Jackson for no known reason. There were no accompanying lights, which could indicate fireworks, and no known celebration of any kind in the community. It seemed to be a recording of actual military large gun barrages played over enormous speakers for the noise to reach as many people as possible. I called the Leon County Sheriff's Department, the LCSD, about the noise and spoke to Deputy Jeffrey Cannon. He informed me that the sheriff's deputies had escorted representatives from the NSA, FBI, and other federal authorities through town from a private airport earlier for a special exercise to be held at the Laura Phipps property in cooperation with the FDLE, which is the Florida Department of Law Enforcement, and the co-located Fusion Center. We discussed the fact that NSA had no facilities nearby, nor did any federal or military entity of any size, and the FBI presence there was almost insignificant, so it made little sense to focus an exercise on such a small and unsophisticated capital city as Tallahassee. He also said that he had been in the military and knew that such recordings as the barrage played the previous night were often used to signal participants in a military exercise spread over a large area that the exercise was beginning. Change the page.
Take your time.
Okay. From April 2015 through November 2015, I was stalked and harassed in Tallahassee by what appeared to be civilians. The pattern of harassment fit perfectly the previous patterns of stalking harassment engaged in by low-level NSA security goons. It would appear my subpoena upset them. They did not want the burglar tied to NSA. The EEOC judge illegally ignored our subpoena requests, however, though the stalking harassment continued in the precise methodology showing it was orchestrated and choreographed like that of NSA security. I concluded that they must want me to drop my lawsuit, but I would not. I attempted to file a Florida Sunshine Act request to demand any correspondence, mail, email, phone call, records regarding Leon County Sheriff Department communication with the NSA in regard to me. They initially told me that there were 800 pages plus of corresponding documents in that regard. Despite the state law, the Leon County Sheriff's Department then refused my request, unless I coughed up $2,000 for administrative fees, which clearly was beyond outrageous and meant to totally subvert the Florida Sunshine Act. In late November 2015, my parents' home, where I was staying, in Florida, was hit overnight with a horrific electronic field projected so strongly into the house that it fried smaller electronics like the router and my cell phone, ruining them, and damaged larger appliances like the refrigerator, dishwasher, microwave oven. It even made our large adult dogs pee themselves overnight, and it killed my cat.
Oh my God.
Yeah, it fried her. Weeks of nightly attacks became standard. We had an expert electrician examine the home's electrical system, but he found no problem coming from within the house, only unexplained damage from an unknown outside source. We also noted that when the attacks occurred, that not only our cable was completely jammed to include landline phones, but that Comcast reported suddenly having problems affecting 94% of their users in the Greenwood Hills area where we were, with those not affected being furthest away from us. They also reported damage to cables and routers like they had never seen before and stated they had had a record 10 repair vans dispatched to Greenwood Hills in late 2015, early 2016 at one time. As the attacks continued, I noted that men were being let out of a car after dark with a box or attaché case at the edge of the woods near our home. At dawn, the attacks would cease, and I would then see the same people run out of the woods, then get picked up by a car and driven away. This went on for several weeks. Law enforcement was told, but did nothing. At one point, I went to the Leon County Sheriff's Department and spoke to the duty officer about what was going on. He asked me to repeat my name, and I did. He then walked out to his private car in the parking lot, pulled out a number of manila files, perhaps 12 to 20, thumbed through them, opened up what appeared to be mine, read some of the first document, snapped it shut, saying, "I'm not allowed to help you," then put all the files back in the trunk of the car. Why would law enforcement keep files on people in the trunk of the duty officer's car? Perhaps to circumvent laws requiring law enforcement to be subject to admission to having such files and required to reveal their purpose. No lawyer would know to demand to see records kept in a private car. And who ordered them to hide such records to circumvent the law? The Fusion Center? Does this not amount to an admission of guilt in regard to illegitimate targeting of people? In the
Wow.
meantime, yeah, it's incredible. In the meantime, I also noted two strangers were going house to house, though never to ours, in our Greenwood Hills neighborhood, showing what seemed to be badges and being let into the homes then. When these strangers returned,
Are you kidding me?
sorry about that, they
Okay,
seemed to
okay.
bring
I
equipment
was
and
waiting
spend
for it. I'm like,
time
they already took her
teaching the
down.
residents how to use the unknown equipment, or they themselves were using it from the neighbor's property. Each time this happened, the male and female in their 30s would stay at the homes for several days or weeks. The attacks then started to come from these homes and these people, as borne out by special meters such as the tri-field.
And she's gone. Oh my. I don't even know if we're still live. Stand by, people. I can't tell if I'm live. I think I am. Karen, are you good? If you can hear me, hit the link. Come back in. Stand by, people. I'm being quiet for a reason. I believe we're still live. Are you kidding me? All right. I'm going to keep this up, guys. So bear with me. I'm going to send her the link all over again. Oh my. I was just waiting for this to happen, and it happened. Stand by. Ow. Okay, where are we at? Where are we at? Yeah, the star faces west, and then all of a sudden at like 8 o'clock, it just disappears, which makes no sense. So, yeah, that's okay. That's okay. I didn't think they would, but here's the deal. She has an affidavit that she was reading. I'm copying it, putting in the chat right now, and I'll also pin it in the comments below. You guys might want to jump on this, especially if you're dealing with this. I see a lot of people saying stuff about having their head freaking out in the middle of the night, like it's being like it feels like it's crazy. It's crazy. It's crazy. Karen, I can see you somewhat. I mean, I can see your icon, but I can't hear you. Just so you know. It's in the chat. And she's gone. Monica, it's in the chat. Well, it doesn't matter. You got your videos on. Your video's on, but you got no audio. All right. You know what? I will. I'm going to shut this down. Karen, if you can hear me, I'm going to shut this down and start a whole nother live stream. So, guys, I'm going to kill it right now. I just sent Karen the new link. So hopefully this works. This has never happened. Never, ever happened. I think I accidentally shut my own self down once. And some people had bad video. That was it. And it was usually me. So it happens. This should be a fresh live stream. It's showing no people. Okay, here we go. All right, do me a solid. I'm going to ask you to hit the thumbs up this time around. Share this because this is real information. It's not too often you get an NSA person on here. And apparently when you get NSA on, they shut her down. I just hope she's good. Yeah, we're back. Karen, I just sent you a fresh link. The last email I just sent you is a link to this live stream. It should work. There's no reason in the world it should not work. I will do that, but that's not my main concern right now. Now, let me check my email. Stand by, guy. I apologize for this. I'm just trying to get her back on, so stand by. Okay, that's great. No Karen as of yet. What is up, Ozark Aware? Summer Smith, unapologetically me. Riker, what's up, brother? Blake Holder, my bad. Sarah Connor, come with me if you want to live. Lars Ohm, I hope Karen's okay. I'm guessing she is. They're just messing with the signal. I mean, I showed you the video that she sent me, and that meter detects microwaves. It pinned it, and that was an industrial one. That's insane. So, no, I'm hip. I hear you. I just hope she can get back up. She's not even returning my email. I've never had somebody come on. Karen is an ex-NSA employee, Alphabet agency. She got forced out of her job. She made a stink about it, and they started to target her. That's bad. Exactly. That's a good call, which is why I'm leaving the link to this little link right here. Will connect you with her. So if anybody lives in her area, hook up with her, and especially if you're targeted. And I'm hitting the road. I know I keep saying this, but I'm hitting the road Sunday morning. So tomorrow I got to do a little bit of packing, blah, 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 blah. I'm going to do a video on targeted because it's happened to me. It's happened to a bunch of YouTubers, and most of us were just afraid to say anything. Why would you make a video about something that's happened to you that you can't see? That's the most terrifying thing in your life. You figure if you make a video, people are going to, it would show them, hey, it's working, but I think they already know it's working. So yeah, I'm not coming to see anybody. I'm already good. If I stopped and saw everybody, I wouldn't move. You see what I mean? It takes me about 6 months from going back and forth with somebody to finally putting them on the list. You know what I'm saying? No worries. I will. Yeah, the link's in the chat right now. Right there. I don't know where she's at. This is freaking me out. And I spoke with her. She's not a dramatic woman. You know what I'm saying? She's not showing her face because of vanity, not because of she's afraid. It does a number on you, man. She's been dealing with it a long time. Imagine if you work for the NSA and you piss them off. I'm just some asshole with a laptop and they went after me. You know what I'm saying? So I've made them before, but it's just this, I don't know. It's a crazy topic. It's a crazy topic. Everybody that's been in the military knows they have it. RJCJR10yahoo.com. That's my initials. RJCJR. I'm a junior. 10 because I'm a 10. No, I'm just kidding. I agree. Indeed. Does it look like I give up? I almost got that tattooed on my neck. Imagine that. My grandmother was like, please don't. I almost got riff raff tattooed on my knuckles. And my grandmother talked me out of it. Nana was cool. She was smart. You'll regret this one of these days. Yeah, that happens. So, yeah, I thought riff raff was brilliant. I'm like, it's perfect. It fits. 2 Fs, riff raff. Or does it look like I give an F on my neck? I'm glad I didn't do that. Yeah, Nana was no joke. I'm glad that I actually spent the last 4 years of my life kicking it with my grandmother. So right? Riff Raff from Underdog. You don't even know Underdog, do you, Catalina? It's a good show. Sweet Polly Purebred. Underdog was a cartoon. He would open it before, if anything went wrong, he'd open his ring, he'd take a pill, and then he'd get jacked and F everybody up. I'm assuming it was an Oxy 80 he was taking. Right? Boom, 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 boom. Okay, Karen, you're killing me here. Now I'm starting to worry. Oh, they might be shutting my email down too. I'm going to start a fresh one. Stand by. She's not even trying to jump in. I just sent her. Yeah, they might be. I can't call her. I don't call anybody. I don't care who you work for. I don't call anybody. I hate the phone. I don't dig the phone. Right? I knew we were going to have an issue when she started this off by, I mean, you know, she's telling the truth. Like, I worked for the NSA and the Mossad controls everything. Yep. Live stream's over. I knew that was coming. There's a lot of people targeted. It's crazy. Come on, Karen. I'm not saying come on, Karen, like the live stream. I don't really care, man. I really don't care as far as live stream or not. What I care about is she wasn't done talking. So unbelievable that it's believable. Karen, I just sent you I feel like I'm talking, I feel like a crazy person. I think she's okay. She's got no audio. I know. I don't want to start just talking about something else like she wasn't just on here spilling her life out in front of everybody. The Mossad. It's Central Intelligence Agency of Israel. It's the thing that runs every Central Intelligence Agency of every country in the world. So those are the guys that did 9/11. Those are the guys probably behind Sandy. Oh, look, I'm putting them all out there right now, huh? Those are the guys that are behind everything, basically. So exactly. They're ISIS. They're everything. I got video of the star, the wacky star. I got video from a dude in Croatia of the star. I got video from like 5 people in the United States. Johnny Hump's got video of it. Several people in Ireland. It's everywhere. The thing's everywhere. And so, I mean, I got like 20 email. I got like, excuse me, I got like 10 emails in 20 minutes last night, all going, Richie, look at the star. And I'm like, I was just looking at it 20 minutes ago. I walked over the window and it was gone. That don't work like that. They move ever so slowly. So I follow your channel for 2/3 of a year now, and I fully understand. My question is, how do I escape this world? And I live in the middle of the Netherlands, and I can't, dude, we can't either. Most people, it doesn't matter where you live. Most people can't escape. Just understand it, because it's not, everyone wants a solution. At the very, very end, you're going to have to make a choice, and you have to choose right. That's all. There is no escaping it, because it's going to be worldwide. Some places are going to be worse than others, mostly cities. True story. Mossad runs everything. And I don't think there is. And I know, I get it. I know Jewish people and such. Nice. Yeah, I've been videotaping. Here's the deal. I just started putting up stuff that I do anyways that I wasn't videotaping. It's a pain in the butt, because now you got to carry a bunch of cameras, but you're just seeing, Jailbreak is just showing you what I'm doing when I'm not in front of a camera. Turns out I'm in front of a camera. Yeah, John, I just saw Johnny. Dude, put that in a video, upload it to YouTube, make it unlisted, and then send me that link and I'll run it. Because we got dudes from Croatia, Ireland, all over the United States, Boston, obviously. So, and I'm hitting the highway Sunday morning. So I should be able to catch this thing everywhere. But the thing is I got back here December 8th. So I've been home for like 2 months. I saw this thing before that. If it's a planetary body, you know, a wandering star, they don't stay in the same location that long. So this is dude, it's on the wrong side of the blue, and you know that. You've seen it, right? So yeah, I'm giving away a sick custom. It's not custom, it's handmade, made in America survival knife. The guy made the knife, he made the handles, he made the sheath. I mean, a dude down in the Appalachian Mountains makes this entire setup. So I got one and I'm like, you know what? I should get two and give it away. So I am. And none of this stuff is free, man. None of this stuff is free. So it's not like people are giving me shit and I'm just giving it away. I just do it because, you know, what are we doing here? You know what I mean? Might as well hook people up when you can. I always do it. Every time I do a giveaway, that person ends up being some sort of a scumbag, though. That's the problem. So if you win, don't be a scumbag. I've given away silver. I've given away gold. I've given away bug out bags. I've given away those things so you don't have to pay a cable bill anymore. I don't think you can even use those anymore, but what are you going to do? And Broken Reality is going to go through the entire 4 videos and make sure everybody followed the rules. The rules are easy. Like and comment on this video and the last 3. I had to give some sort of rules so there was some sort of order. Okay, Karen, you're starting to bum me out now. Are you? At least send me an email and tell me you're okay. And if you are, I'm just going to pull the plug. We'll try this another time. Yeah, you do. The video's up. The giveaway's good till Sunday night at midnight. How's that? So Route 40. I take 40 a lot. 40 east and west. Please don't give to the super chat. I'm not angry enough to get mad, but don't give to the super chat. There's no need to, man. Everything I do on this channel, if you buy survival food, you get that, you're prepared, I get a tiny piece of it. But I don't want anybody giving me anything free. You know what I'm saying? And I want you, give me money on the super chat and I'll say your name. I'll say your name if I happen to notice it. You know what I'm saying? Depends. I'm a moody bitch. Everybody knows that. Just all there is to it. So I've been like that my entire life. She's not returning my email. That's strange because we were just emailing back and forth. No problemo. And I did notice that her audio went out twice and then all of a sudden she's gone. Damn. Yeah, you wouldn't if you met me, Teresa. I'm not really all that nice. Well, she came back up. They say, yeah, maybe they might have shut her internet down, but I mean, she's not returning an email. I've sent her like 6 emails. Okay, so here's the deal. Long story short, we had an employee of NSA get forced out of her job, like we hear all the time. And apparently, what they do is if you try to stand up for yourself, if you worked at CERN or NSA or any of these large corporations, they just target you. Someone's like, well, if the government wants you dead, they'd kill you. The government wants us all dead. They can't kill us all. That would be too messy. And these people are sadistic. So they're testing all this invisible stuff. What do you think 5G is? The stuff that's happening to her is what 5G is. They'll be able to do it to all of us more effectively and more efficiently. They won't have to have a gang stalker target you. They'll be able to target you remotely. It's crazy. I'm telling you, on my grandmother's soul, it's completely real. And it's the most terrifying thing that's ever happened to me. Ever. It's no joke. So there's that. I can believe she got taken down, but I can't because it was so obvious that she was going to get taken down, and she did. Somebody in the chat said they heard her somewhere else. I had never heard her anyplace. She was just, hey, I'm a subscriber, blah, blah, blah. I wanted to share some information. I said, if it's legit, let's run it. She said, all right. I was amazed. I figured she was going to say like, yeah, we got to be anonymous or whatever. She came right out with her name. No problem. She's a brave girl. But then when you do that, this is what happens. Pineapples can talk. Let me guess. My hair, right? I know. Here we go. Here we go. And I dye my hair too. When my hair's short, my hair's blonde. It's getting more gray as the clock ticks down, but whatever. Eating biblically clean and keeping the Sabbath help breaks the. Yeah, I hear. It does. I did. I got some footage. I haven't put it. I believe me, I'm kind of busy the last few days getting my truck ready, getting everything ready. Targeted Israel said, "We are just a test group. Year 2, 3. Any person on flat Earth going to be tough." Yeah, I agree. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly. It's going to be ugly. She's not even returning my email. That's freaking me out. I mean, not being able to jump back in the live stream, that happens. What do you mean what happened to Dana? I don't know. She pulls the plug a lot. She's always off grid. So, I mean, off grid as far as everything's on airplane mode. She's the worst person in the world to try to get a hold of. Yeah, I guess we're out. Because, I mean, I don't want to. No, she wasn't lying. I vetted her before I brought her on. So, as much as you can, which is a lot, but I do not call anyone Susan. I hate the effing phone. I don't dig the phones. So if she hits me back up, I'm going to, comments are too much. They distract the stuffing out of me. All right, guys. Richie from Boston. If she hits me back up, we'll go back live again. But I think that's it. At any rate, the link will be pinned in the comment section. You might want to jump on that download she gave because I think it's fairly important. Or don't. At any rate, I'm out.